Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Secret Strategy Gamer, and we are returning to Hearts of Iron 4. Now, it is the eve of war. The Germans are justifying war against us, and it's going to be a very, very tough one. Germany has been beefed up by all the modifiers that we could give them. So let's see how this is going to turn out. We have three defensive lines, one immediately on the front or on the border, one slightly set behind these two rivers here, the Memel and the Bug. And then one behind the Dnieper over here. So this is what we hope to hold against the German onslaught. We do have a couple of fortifications, we do have ample of troops on these lines, but the Germans do have better troops, and they have a lot of them, and they have, of course, a lot of good modifiers. We do have a couple of operatives operating in German lines, especially in Poland. So let's see how that is going to turn out as we go ahead here and resume the timing. And this is actually the first time that I'm seeing some stuttering in Hearts of Iron 4. So yeah, let's see how that is going to turn out. I do think we have all of our aircraft set up basically over here, over Poland, over eastern Poland, over the Baltic states, and over the Ukraine, of course. So let's see how it is going to turn out. I'm very afraid, actually. This is one of the few times that I'm afraid in Hearts of Iron 4. So the Germans do have at least, I think, twice our amount of planes. So let's have a look at the new intel ledger over here. So we can see that they probably do have, in terms of planes, 6,000 fighters or so. We have a lot less than that, and most of them seem to be fairly modern. Ooh, we do get detailed knowledge about that now. Well, isn't that something? So they have agility, and that's not the most modern one. This is the most modern one then. Curious to see that they deviated with their naming scheme here a little bit. Still, that is interesting. In terms of army units, come on, we know that they have mostly this infantry template 3. And I'm actually surprised because this looks like a relatively decent template over here. 9 infantry divisions and 3 artillery ones. Although, you know what, hold on a second, that does mean they have, what, 1827 combat width? That's a really awkward template then. Okay, nevertheless, they are using heavily artillery, so that is something that we do need to be mindful about, and see how this is going to turn out over here as we are nearing the declaration of war date, which we expect to be somewhat in July, I think, once they have finished this over here. So, let's see how it is going to turn out. I really don't know. I think we are going to research a couple of things before, specifically vast offensive, which does make one very, very big addition, and that is we can decrease our infantry combat width. So that means we can then go ahead and beef up our infantry divisions by a very significant margin over there. But yeah, whether or not that is going to be that useful, I do not know. Ooh, more unassigned divisions. Okay, so we've got at least 9 additional mountain divisions over here. So let's get 5 of you to be part of this here, and you're going to come over here via rail, please and thank you. And the other 4 are part of our second group, which I think should be you. Oh, come on. There we go. Which I think should be you. Yeah, there we go. And you're transferring as well. There we go. Vast offensives, also very nice. We're going to go ahead and continue here with the breakthrough priority. Mostly to give us a little bit more breakthrough. Well, duh. Okay, there we go. Right, let's look at our infantry templates now. I think they should have about 16 combat width. Yeah. So we would actually like to go a lot wider. So I would very much like to go to a point where we have a multiple of 20 over here, which is basically, I think, 25 different... yeah, but it would basically everything being filled up by infantry. Now that is not possible because we don't have the amount of army experience that we need for that. But what we can still do is go ahead and up that a little bit over here. Now, we have a lot of infantry, guys, so just upping that a little bit means we have a significant shortfall of infantry equipment. So let's go ahead here gently and increase that only by 1. It's still going to mean we are losing 40,000 infantry equipment, and a lot of our guys will now be slightly less experienced than they were. But I think that's going to just be gone very quickly afterwards. So yeah, let's build that up gently as we go ahead over here. And let's, by the way, have a look at the recruitment over here. I don't think we have anyone who's on sort of a perpetual loop to build up any new divisions? No. Okay, so I think that should be okay then. Right, and I'm expecting the Germans to declare war any day now. And at that point we're going to dial down on the speed a little bit and see what is going to come out of that. What else can we do to boost our forces here in 1941? Now these things are slightly ahead of time, but I think it might still be useful. We could think about better armor over here. This wouldn't actually take too long, would it? So artillery, this is all okay. We could do a little bit of anti-air stuff. That'd be alright, but not quite critical, I feel. Armor, yeah, well, I mean, 225 days. I mean, it's significantly ahead of time. I don't think it's that important. 1942, also an interesting choice. But maybe more importantly, I think we might have a very hard time piercing German tanks. So doing this or that over here both of these choices might be very, very useful for us. 134 days. It's not a lot, is it? So, yeah, we might as well do that. Engineering, 1941, none of this is important. Well, maybe the radar is slightly useful. 95 days. Okay, let's go with the radar technology. In terms of construction, we are building up still a lot of fortifications, and we're churning through these so quickly. I'm not used to them building up so quickly, actually. So that's pretty nice, actually. So, since all of this is looking relatively well, I would say, question is, where do we need to build up slightly better fortifications? Where do we have any significant weak spots? Now, I suppose we can go ahead and build this up here, even though it's behind the marshes, and I expect them to have slightly less supply down there. I think this might still be an okay choice. Riga up there is still well anchored, and I'm guessing we could build up these areas here as well. So let's try to do that and see whether anything good is going to come out of that. Right, and let's take a brief look here at these guys. So you are still a little bit shy on infantry equipment. Manpower, ooh, we're actually very shy on manpower now. So that then begs the question, do we want to continue training up these guys over here? Or do we want to... Oh no, you know what, in terms of manpower, I think we are still just on volunteer army, yeah. Once we do limited conscription, we should get at least 1 million men or so that we can recruit. And that shouldn't take too long. Right, more unassigned divisions then. Okay, there we go. This is another army division that is basically just these easy guys. Let's give you another symbol over here. And you guys can hold, I think, this gap over here in the marshes. Now, the marshes are not really the best territory to hold, obviously. Sorry, are not the best territory to advance in. And even holding that is slightly disadvantageous because it basically you're being easily pushed back into the marshes. So let's give that task to these guys over here, as they're probably the most expendable. Yeah, this is Soviet Russia. Welcome. Okay, and here we go. This is it. This is the war, and it immediately starts not looking that great. So let's look at items like this. They are attacking over here, and they are mostly doing more damage than we are, and that is concerning. Now, our experience does play a role in that, because probably these guys are now counting as very green. Indeed, 90% only, and that is slightly worse than I had expected. So that's not great. But I think as these guys are training up, and I think they're going to train up very rapidly over here, I think we might be looking better very much soon. And honestly, I think what you guys can do over here is, since you're on the 3rd defensive line over here, let's have you guys train up, because I think training you up should be very rapid. Yeah, it's only going to take 5 days or so. Germans are hopefully not going to advance that quickly, as the Soviets probably said historically. Right, so yeah, you guys are okay over here. You guys are training up, I feel. Are you? Yes, you are. Okay, so that's okay then. Let's have these pink guys. Yeah, that's you. You're also training up. So that's going to be okay. I think actually the second group here could potentially also already start to train up. And that might be somewhat successful. Right, so we just got to remember to pull the... No, you actually don't need that. I think you're fine. You'll be alright. It's going to take a couple of days, a couple of fights, but then you will be pretty much doing fine, as are you. So that's okay down here. Let's have a look over here, for example. Yeah, just look at that. Their army size is really kind of awkward just to fit in all of these divisions. They have a lot of reserves over here, but we're doing more damage than they are, certainly, although this is also mountainous terrain. Whereas over here, we are not matching them. And the key reason for that is potentially, it's hard to say, planning bonus. Well, planning bonus does play a high role. By the way, can we see anything in terms of our intel advantage? 15%. Yes, we're getting a 15% intel advantage. And that is primarily down to the fact that we have, it's over here, Intelligence Agency, Cryptology, that we have deciphered the German ciphers. Right, so that's okay. We are also preparing to strengthening their resistance, which I suppose is fine. Yeah, but other than that, it looks like we are losing some of these fights very significantly. They do have the 1st Panzer Division over here, and we are not able to pierce them. So just how strong are you? Your armor is about 10. We can't even pierce a 10. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, I think what I would like to do then is you guys could definitively pierce a 10, right? Yes. And you guys, actually, the enemy could not pierce you, so let's try to send in at least 2 tanks over here in these areas where we are seeing their tanks attacking us. Which I suppose is also the case over here. Yeah, so let's bring you in there. And I think that's going to be alright. Do we see any further tanks? Oh, some over here. We're actually advancing across the river, and that is interesting. So yeah, let's try to... Actually, could our light tanks pierce you? Yes, you could. Well, that's cool. Okay, let's get... well, I didn't mean everyone. Okay, let's just get half of you. And then one of the... or let's say 2 of the other tanks are you also going to get down here, actually. And that should be okay. Other than that, relatively few tanks around. Really? Japanese units? Japanese units on the Eastern Front on the German side. Well, isn't that something? Right, okay. Everyone is attacking over here, so let's get more people into there. More of our tank reserves. Yeah, but other than that, it looks fine. Right, let's have a look at this war. We are at war only for a couple of days. But the Germans have they actually lost? No, they haven't lost anyone against us. Okay. And it's not even a couple of days, it's just the first day. Right, okay. Other than that, though, it looks alright. What have we got over here? Air wings with no missions attached. What are you? Naval bomber. Okay, you're down here. Well, honestly, I don't really want you to be doing anything right now. Well, these fighters, though, well, I suppose you guys could go all the way to East Asia. It's just 40 fighters, so it's not the most. Let's get over here and let's fly over the Russian Far East, just to sort of deter any attack over there. Right, and other than that, I think it's okay. Right, so let's resume time and see how things are advancing or are progressing over here. I think we can dial down on the timing a little bit, because I would like to be at least somewhat mindful about all the changes that we can do. Right, national focus bypassed, war with Germany. Germany breaks Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. The non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union, a surprising development to begin with, has now less surprisingly fallen apart. Germany has attacked. Breaking the pact returned to, once again, openly speaking of the Soviet Union as a menace that must be faced for the vision of the future to become a reality. Soviet leadership is less than pleased, but perhaps less shocked by the betrayal than disappointed that they didn't seize the opportunity first. Well, by the way, I didn't... Yeah, so see, there's a country bonus of 10%, and that is just due to the fact that we are that they have been declaring war first. Notice, though, that they are having a lot less success here with their guys than we... Well, no, that's not true for the infantry divisions. Yeah, the infantry divisions are really key, are really extremely strong. Military access, yes, we are going to grant military access to our, well, halfway allies, I guess we could say. Unwitting allies. 374! What are you? That is amazing. You guys are just steamrolling us. Well. Okay, nevertheless. Well, I guess... So this is hills over here. So what we can do is grab at least... You know what, let's grab half of you guys here. And come into these hills to defend a little bit over there. These guys are mountain troops, so they should be relatively good doing that. Right, just a couple of days. Okay, Romania is at war against us now. Now, I think the Romanian front down here is much weaker than the German front. So, you know what? We're actually going to grab these guys over here. And we're going to activate their attack plan and try to get towards this river line over here while the Germans are still sort of shifting their troops around. So let's see whether that is going to work out. At least down here it looks promising, even though if not down there. But nevertheless, let's see whether that is going to work out. And I'm guessing you guys here could try to attack over here and just try to break into their sides over there. There's a lot of troop movements up here. I wonder whether we could disrupt them in any fashion. Yeah, this is going to be an extremely bloody war. Yes, we are of course going to accept non-aggression pacts. This over here is so concerning though. So very concerning. Okay, how are you guys looking? Yeah, okay, you're looking much better now. So let's stop training up so that you can get back to that digging in. And that would be fantastic. Anyone else? You? Yes. You're fine. You're fine. Okay, there's one guy. Just a couple of guys who are not fine, but it's okay, I think. Right, how are we looking in terms of our logistics? Pretty okay, actually. Slovakia is joining, somewhat unsurprisingly. Can I get Iran to join as well? Yeah, okay, let's get you to join. So you'll be sending us some troops. I'm not going to ask Turkey to join yet. Even though we could at least do some damage down here, couldn't we? Well, okay, I might actually ask you guys here to start training up as well. Does that get rid of your preparation? No, it's not getting rid of that, so that's okay then. Right, modify government, we are capable of doing that. I think very soon we are going to do that because of the manpower shortage here. That is starting to develop. But yeah, let's see first. Now down here in the south I think we are making some progress. We are definitely beating back some guys over here. So that is nice, even though we are definitely not achieving a broad success on the entire front. That being said, they haven't really been beating us back over the last couple of days here. Okay, another tank division. I think we do have another tank group over here. So that's great. Let's try to get you somewhere down here. I think you will be needed at some point. So yeah, let's get you over there. That I think should be okay. Right. Jesus, this is intense. Now, we have lost 11,000 men already. Germans have lost 110,000, even though they have enormous modifiers. That's pretty great, actually. That's fantastic. Just how many men are they fielding? Just trying to find out over here. So, army, they are fielding 300, so about 3 million men. We, on the other hand, are fielding about twice that number. On the other hand, they have more artillery, so their units are definitely stronger than ours. But still. And how much do they stockpile on? Look at the amount of armored cars or different variants of armored cars that they have. They have 5,000 units of artillery. And they have over 100,000 units. Let's say that's a lot of infantry equipment that they've got over here there. This would take an enormous amount of time just to bleed them dry. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff. I wonder how can they have so much infantry equipment. I mean, yes, they do have the modifier, so I guess that does make sense. MAS 36. I wonder where they got that from. Carabiner, that I think is a German arm. Yeah. Well. Different people are being called in over here. Oh, by the way, we should just check on Intel. Do we know anything about their armor, their reserves in personnel? So the available manpower, is that the free manpower? Or is it just everyone? Curious, can they field 3 million men and they are fielding them? Or is that sort of a different measure? On aggression pact, yes, of course we're going to take that. Okay, so Turkey has joined up in the war independently. Oh, well, that's interesting. So you guys, please do stop training and regain some of your organization, please. Yeah. Right. Okay, we are mostly winning across the front over here, it seems. Even though down here in Romania it just doesn't seem like we're doing as good as I would have hoped that we would potentially do. No immediate point where we can attack. Well, maybe over here. Into Hungary. So you know what, let's take half of you guys. And attack at least from two sides over here. Maybe we're going to overwhelm them in these mountains. And can quickly grab that province. That would be lovely. Just so that we can avoid them exchanging between front lines that easily. Look at that. Someone is... Really? What? Turkey? What are you doing? Turkey is doing a naval landing over here. Who would have thought? Okay, let's start this attack over here. And with our guys, maybe you can just break through like that. That would be fantastic, but honestly it just doesn't look like it. Yeah, okay. Stop it. Okay, fine. Good. No one is training up or anything. And honestly down here, this offensive is also doomed. So let's stop doing this. Yeah, okay, let's actually actively stop you guys from doing this. Please and thank you. Yeah, that's okay. Over here we are still attacking into these mountains even though they have been reinforced. But so far that seems to be relatively okay. We've got more divisions. Okay, 14 divisions. Well, that's a slightly awkward number. Okay, that's nevertheless... let's grab you, give you a new general. You... That's fantastic. What's your number? You're going to be 21. Ah, 21. There we go. Okay, that's alright. And where do we want to bring you? Potentially down here. I mean, just crushing Romania early would be so lovely, but again, I don't think that's really viable. On the other hand, over here we seem to be having some problems holding this line. On the other hand, I don't want to bring you in too aggressively over here. On the other hand, this here looks like a very long line. So I'm not sure whether we will be able to keep this line with so few troops here. So what I'm going to do then is to define a fallback line for you guys. Something like that. Okay. Now I do need to edit them back in. So okay. Let's do it differently. Let's get you over here. And you guys can get down there. So that's okay. And then you guys can go like this. Yes, that's it. Right. Okay, you're now moving down. You guys over there are moving up, so that's great. We should get another 10 divisions also very soon, I guess. You guys over here. Let's define your areas here. That should be okay. Then you two are going to be part of this. Great. More unassigned divisions? No. Yeah, I mean, we are starting to feel a lot of men over here. And I'm guessing what we do really need to do is grab the limited conscription. Research city done. So let's diversify the program so that we can get to the new research slot. That'd be great and fantastic. Japan declaring war on the Philippines. Interesting. So that does, I think, preclude some of the war against the US, which is going to be nice because it's going to be good change for us. Okay, you guys stop your attack over here. This is starting to become pointless. They've reinforced that way too strongly. Okay, so that's alright there. Thinking about pulling back over here. I don't think we need these guys over there. Yeah. So this time not that many sweeping encirclements as you've maybe seen in our last war where we played as Mongolia and did use cavalry quite a bit. Now this time it's more United States joining the Allies. There we go. So that's a good result. That's earlier than historically was the case, obviously. So that's good. By the way, let's check out our tanks down here. So I'm thinking these guys should still have some tanks, yes. But we haven't really reinforced with our tanks. So they are still around. And I think they might be for some time. Okay, what's going on over here? Why are you over here? Well, you can only really belong to this division, can't you? Who are you? You're starting to be low on supply, which is not good news. And we are starting to see some issue here with the with our air superiority. How many guys are they? They are not fielding that. No, they are fielding a lot of fighters. Our troops bombed. Enemy troops bombed. Enemy fighters lost 57. We lost 35. Well, that's not a bad ratio. But yeah, is it going to be enough, I wonder? Single division up over here. Let's assign it to this group. I don't know why it's not complete. Okay, United States is joining the war as on the side of the Allies. So that's obviously fantastic. And we should be nearly done with recruiting everyone that we are currently recruiting except for tank. Better anti-tank equipment, certainly nice. But I think what we can do is actually go ahead for the atomic research over here. It is slightly behind time, but that's still okay. So yeah, you guys part of this. Oh, and of course we do need to produce the new version, which almost universally is better. I mean, the Paradox did make a great deal about, you know, how you need to balance your strategy, whether you want immediate benefit or some delayed benefit. But honestly, I think for the most part you'll always want better equipment. It's very rare that you find yourself not wanting better equipment. Okay, up over here, I think we are at least doing an enormous amount of damage against the Germans over here. So let's, soon is going to be the first year of the war done. So that is, I think, going to be interesting. Over here, it looks like the first city that we are losing. Just look at that attack value, 500. That is really awkward. How are our agents doing? 64 days. Can we do anything specifically to help out over here? So let's see what options we've got against the Germans. We could plan false intelligence. We could prepare collaboration. That would be slightly early. We could sabotage resources, infrastructure. Now these are interesting ideas. Specifically infrastructure, I think, would be an interesting choice, because I'm feeling that most likely their supply lines must be as strained as ours, as we are dodging this out over here. By the way, let's have a brief look here at the editing of this. So what happens if we add another infantry equipment? We would have a big shortfall. Okay, so let's wait until we've got about 50,000 infantry equipment. How much are we producing each day? So each day we should be producing about 500, so it's not actually that much. 50,000, that's about 100 days or so of production. That's significant, but not that bad. I do think we need some reinforcements up over here. So let's grab you and get there. And you know what? Let's get one tank over there as well. Any reinforcements that we can pour into there? Well, you are already doing that. But they are so strong over here. 400. Still, I think they can ill afford the losses, whereas we can somewhat afford them. Yeah, I mean, we are down to 400,000 people, but it should increase fairly rapidly. Right, there we go. Nearly a month's done. That is pretty much everyone being recruited. Almost a month done, and so far our front line here is holding out relatively well, I have to say. So that's not... Just look at the amount of troops that they've got over there. I wonder whether the UK and or the US will be capable of dealing any damage towards them. By the way, yeah, no, they did win in Africa, so that's nice. Okay, interestingly enough, Italy is attacking over there. Some troops over here, not that many though. And I think Bulgaria is currently not part of any alliance, so that is also nice to see. If you want to send us 4 expeditionary forces, sure, I'm going to take them. Lovely, yes. Let's grab you guys, and let's bring you to some part of the front line. Yeah, let's get you over here. I think that's all right. Or you know what? Let's get you over here into Odessa, because I'm slightly afraid that they might cut us off there. That's the main order of the day here, just to prevent any encirclements. Right. You guys are losing a lot of stuff over there, but there's only so much that you can do. Okay, can you also become part of some form of army, just so that that is not distracting me? That'd be fantastic. Good. Good over here. I'm guessing what we could do is, in terms of production, have a look at our aircraft. Have a look at our fighter aircraft. We actually do have a decent one. Well, if we increase the engine and the reliability a bit, maybe the weapons. Nah, it's not a big enough upgrade, I think, to warrant any change in our model there. Okay, can you please too wide a unit? Okay, this is a very small front line over here. This is extremely narrow. Also, we are lacking a bit of supply. Non-aggression pact, yeah, I would actually like some material, that would be lovely. I mean, we could spend the infantry equipment and then hope that our allies are going to give us some. That would not necessarily be the worst idea. Okay, let's try to tap into their resources a little bit. Let's try to add another infantry squadron here. And that potentially will kick us very low into the negatives here in terms of infantry equipment. But I do hope that we are going to get some suggestions by our allies fairly soon. Yes, we are going to accept the non-aggression stuff. You guys, so 5 of you are going to be part of... Damn it. You're going to be part of this army. You're going to be a part of this army. You two. There we go. Non-aggression pact? Yes, of course. Thank you. Not have enough manpower to fulfill garrison requirements. That's curious. What are you missing? Infantry equipment, probably. Yes. Well, I think it's going to be alright. I do hope that our allies are going to jump in. Well, frontline is holding out relatively okay. Again, another attack over here. So, but our guys are now doing fine, and they cannot break us. They cannot pierce us. So that's great. And we actually have air superiority. Huh. And intel advantage, of course. So that's nice. Yeah, we're definitely dealing some damage here with our tanks. So that's great. Even though I'm not sure whether we are... It's a little bit... The AI should keep some reserves, I feel. Okay, you guys get it over there as well. What's happening here? We're being pushed back here on the flanks. That's okay. And we are being pushed back there. Well, it's not the end of the world. We have some retreat lines that we can go into. But you know what? I think it is time to have a look at the situation here. So, yeah, we have lost 100,000 men. Most of them more than 100,000. Most of them towards Germany. Whereas Germany has lost 700,000 men. So the ratio here is definitely not getting much better. but still it's a decent ratio. Romania has actually been extremely resilient over here, but still they are suffering from us as well. So yeah, let's have a look at the German Reich then in terms of intel. So we are seeing that they lost at least 200,000 men here. And I think in terms of deployed manpower, they are still at about 3.3 million. So yeah, they are still capable enough of replenishing their losses. And how are they looking in terms of infantry equipment? Wow. Okay, so I think they were over 100,000 when at the start of the war. And they're now down to at least 80,000 or so. So I think we already did a lot of damage over here. So let's see how that is going to turn out as we go ahead, and whether or not anyone is going to give us any infantry equipment. It would be really, really nice. And it would be great, because I think ultimately what I would like to do is have infantry just like a group of complete infantry armies like this, because this is at the end of the day the Soviet Union. And that would lead to a very nice, I think, 20 combat width that I would very, very, very much appreciate. Sorry, 40 combat width, of course. Would that work out? Yes, it would. Now, the thing is, it would require 600,000 of infantry equipment. We don't have that much now, but we might as well then delete some of the units that we've got and so on, and just consolidate a little bit. And I think that would be great, actually. So yeah, let's see whether that is going to be viable at all, or well, maybe not. Let's see. Hope to see you guys around next time. Bye bye then.